Good morning. My name is John Mandyck. I'm the CEO of Urban Green Council. I'm thrilled to welcome you to our annual conference this year. You know, we're here to talk about Local Law 97, which sets really tough caps on building emissions in 2024 and in 2030. And I can tell you this will be the largest disruption in New York City real estate in our lifetimes. The largest disruption. And we know that with disruption comes challenge. So you're going to hear about those challenges today, and we don't underestimate those challenges for a second. But with disruption also comes opportunity. And in a moment, I'm going to show you exactly the scale of that opportunity with new analysis that we're releasing here today for the very first time. And clearly with disruption comes interest, because this is the largest conference in the history of Urban Green Council, with a long waiting list of people who are trying to get into this room. And so we want to be your go-to source for everything that you need to know about this law and its implications over the next 10 years, and so we're thrilled that you're here with us. So Local Law 97 covers 50,000 buildings, all buildings 25,000 square feet and above. We've never seen anything like it. I think that's why we have so many people in the room here today. So those buildings are going to have to take action through two caps that we're aware of. There's a cap that comes into place in 2024 that affects the 20% worst emitting buildings in that category. And then in 2030, the second cap kicks in, and it's really tough, and it covers 75% of the population. That means 37,500 buildings are going to have to take action in the next 10 years. It's extraordinary for the city. I think it's extraordinary for the world. I think it could set the largest retrofit market clearly in the United States, but possibly around the world. Now, energy efficiency will be a key way to meet the requirement. We know it's not the only way, but today it's the most certain way, because we know there's the ability to buy renewable credits to meet the law, and that's important. Urban Green worked to get that provision into the bill, but we don't know what that market is today. We will in the future, but we don't today. We hope that buildings will be able to trade carbon or climate efficiency, another provision that Urban Green got into the law, but we don't know if that's going to happen. That's in the future. We're going to work hard on it. What we do know is energy efficiency can happen today. So we wanted to know, what is the scale of that opportunity? What does that market look like? We need that data to encourage new technology development, to encourage new business models, certainly to plan for labor. So we said, what's the scale of the opportunity? And this is what we found. Nothing. Nada. The data doesn't exist, or didn't exist until today. So Urban Green did what we do best. We pulled together a group of experts, the best in the city, to say, what is the retrofit market today? That data didn't exist before now. So we understand what the denominator is, so then we could do the scenario planning to understand where is the retrofit market going in the future. So I want to thank that advisory committee. They're in the program. If you look in the center of your program, you'll see the data I'm about to present. So we pulled the group together, and we said, okay, what does the market look like today? And this is what we found. We estimate the retrofit market today in New York City is $235 million per year. So if you look over the last 2-year period, roughly a $470 million market. That's what it is today. Okay, so what would happen in the first compliance period? What would need to scale up if building owners choose energy efficiency as the means to comply with the law? Well, we would see a 2.5 times growth in the retrofit market. And it would be, over that period, a $2.2 billion market. for the first compliance period. So that's pretty big. I mean, a 250% increase in just the next 4 or 5 years in the retrofit market. That should be enough to get people's attention. But then we said, okay, after the first compliance period, what will happen? We believe in total, between 2022 and 2030, a $20 billion market can be created for energy efficiency and energy retrofit in New York City. $20 billion. And notice, in 2030, that's a 13 times increase, 13-fold increase, 1,300%. So we went back and we said, okay, what market has grown like this before? I mean, this is breathtaking, right? If you look at the last decade, the global cell phone market has increased 12x. We think retrofits can increase 13x. So we partnered with MIT, and we said, what does a $20 billion market mean for labor? And the estimate is 141,000 new jobs. These are architects, engineers, planners, professional labor to install the systems, people to maintain them, all the support networks around it. 141,000 jobs with a $20 billion new market. This is getting real. Now this curve, this beautiful curve, we drew this way. You can draw this curve any way you want, but we drew it this way because we think this is the best case. We hope this is how the market works, with data and planning and sold-out conferences for people to learn and plan. This would be the rational best-case scenario for the uptick of growth. People could plan, you could get in line, you can get your building permit, you can get the technology, you can do the bids, you can get the labor, you can get the installation, and you can comply. Right? What if the uptick looks like this? This is a problem. It's a problem for a couple of reasons. One, I'm not sure we're going to hit the carbon reduction targets we need. Two, if building owners wait all the way to the right here, you're going to get in a long, long line. And that $20 billion market, we estimate could be $25 billion, which was the top end of our range, or even more, because guess what? Labor is going to be more expensive, cranes are going to be more expensive, everything is going to be more expensive. It's at the last minute. And, oh, by the way, you have to get a permit from the Department of Buildings. You think they're going to be able to permit 37,500 buildings in 1 year? So the point of this conference is there is a huge opportunity in front of us, but we have to plan for it. We have to understand how we can get there and do it in a rational way. Now, we're not just investing in energy efficiency for investment's sake. I always like to bring us back to the bigger picture and the greater context for why are we here? Why do we have this law? Why are you in this room? Why does Urban Green exist? New York has $3 trillion of insured global coastal properties. $3 trillion of insured coastal properties. That's twice the GDP of Canada. That's what's at risk. This is what's at risk because New York Harbor is up 1 foot in the last century. Climate change is not theoretical. We're at NYU, but this isn't a classroom exercise. This is real. It's happening to us now. We have to take action. Local Law 97, it's not perfect. We hope to improve it. But Local Law 97 is a big first step in how we're going to take action because 70% of the emissions in this city come from buildings. And so we're the ones that have to get this done. We have to do it. We have to play our role for how we can reduce carbon emissions, but we have to do it in a way that the rest of the world can also reduce carbon emissions. Because after we spend that $20 billion I just showed you, if nobody else takes action, guess what? That harbor is still going to flood. Because climate change is a global problem. So we need global solutions, and that is the mission of Urban Green, to work on those solutions in New York that we can scale globally, and we're thrilled to have you here today as partners to do that. So thank you for joining us.